What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. Today we are getting into my Dallas Cowboys. Everybody knows that Ceedee Lamb and Micah Parsons are top players at their position, and with that comes top paydays. So we'll get into, what the ramifications are of having to pay two of the top players in the league top dollar for what, they are worth. We'll get into that. We'll also get into a little bit of that Dallas and Lions game, all that controversy. If you want more Dallas Cowboys content, Sideline Sports Network _Cowboys is scrolling in the ticker, as well as the link to our website to get some merch. We got hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, hats, cups, bags, whatever you need. Everything is there. Let's get into this episode.
Whoa.
And we're starting off hot. Starting off good, baby.
Do I think that the Cowboys got lucky? Yes. Do I think the Lions got screwed over? Maybe, but no. Here's why. Jared Goff had two crucial turnovers. Then, despite you reporting the guy eligible, why did you go for it on fourth down at the 3-yard line? You could have kicked the field goal. Maybe you wouldn't be in that situation. Maybe you would have been up. So I take some fault into Dan Campbell and the Lions. By the way, I have to give Cowboys credit for targeting Ceedee Lamb 17 times. So I have to give credit to that. The Detroit Lions secondary could not stop Ceedee Lamb. So, the call wasn't really. Was it obvious? Did they make mistake? Yes, but that wasn't the main reason why they lost the game. They couldn't stop Ceedee Lamb. Did you see Ceedee Lamb wide open? Dak threw it deep for about 98 yards. He turned the defender around. He just fell on the ground. So, no. This game was more the Cowboys did what they're supposed to do. They targeted Ceedee Lamb. But I keep saying over and over again, they ain't got no damn run game. They hadn't believed in the run game. When Mike McCarthy calls the plays, he doesn't really want to run the ball. So we'll see how the Cowboys do in the playoffs. But I am going to give Dallas credit where credit is due, and I'm going to give them and exceed those expectations of the Dallas Cowboys because, like I said, they are very lucky to be in position to win the NFC East just because those sorry-ass Eagles can't beat the goddamn Arizona Cardinals. I don't know what the hell happened. Both teams lost to the Arizona Cardinals, but you go ahead and go into your little rant about how about those Cowboys. But I'm trying to tell you, when it comes to the damn playoffs, you ain't gonna do jack.
All right, so I'll address your the running game thing first. Obviously, yeah, the running game has left a lot of production to be desired this year, and losing Zeke, obviously he, wanted a little bit more money than we were ready to pay him, and he saw that he only had two options and took a lot less money up in New England. So if he would have realized that before we had to cut him and he would have taken that same amount, we still could have had Zeke. And you know what that did last year? It gave Pollard an opportunity to just be fresh and be explosive in every single game. I was a very large proponent of him being the true running back one. I think he's more of just like a scat back kind of guy. He's a gadget player that is very explosive, good at running the ball for sure, but he just needed a little bit of help to not get, banged up every single play to keep him explosive. Every single stat he has this year is down from last year, and I don't think that that's a coincidence. Now, to this game in particular, Rico Dowdle has been very good as our running back too and taking some of the load off of Pollard, he was out, right? Love Deuce Vaughn. He's not really a go-to running back too. I think if he's going to remain in the NFL, will be only a scat back. He is going to be the ultimate gadget guy, and that's not a knock on him, all right? But that's just he's not going to be a consistent piece in this offense as much as I wanted him to be. Now, going into the Lions game, I appreciate you giving my boys some credit, all right? I do appreciate it. We held a really good offense to a pretty low score comparison to what they do normally. Now, to get into the controversy, all this BS that's going around, all right? Did the refs make a mistake? Yes. But, they did. They got confused. You can't be getting confused on a 2-point conversion to win the game. You just can't, all right? That's inexcusable. I'm not going to, make excuses and say, the refs didn't make a mistake. They did. But they also made a mistake the drive before for the Dallas Cowboys. They called a tripping on our tight end when, if you watch the play, Aiden Hutchinson's leg just shoots out. Oh, you can't see that because of the background. Just shoots out sideways. He was trying to trip Tony Pollard, who still gained 6 or 7 yards. 2nd and 3 there at the 2-minute warning. After that interception that I thought, and I'm thinking a lot of other people thought sealed the game, right? That interception at the end. It didn't, because that penalty then backed us up. Now, do I agree with the 2nd down pass to the end zone? No, that's terrible clock management on Mike McCarthy. You can't call that play. But the refs gave the Lions another opportunity to then get back into the game. They still had to drive the field with no timeouts, and I'll give them credit for that. But they should not have even had that opportunity to begin with, because the game would have been iced after we got that next first down. And the refs just let the Lions back into it. Now, at the same time, I'm not going to ignore the fact that they made a mistake. He got confused, and you can't be getting confused. They've already, downgraded that whole crew to where they're not going to be reffing in the playoffs. Rightfully so. I think there's a couple crews that you should, not even consider being in the playoffs next year. But all this BS I'm seeing on Twitter, all this, it's rigged for the Cowboys. Of course, the Cowboys got that call, blah, blah, blah. We are the most penalized team in the NFL. Do you think if the referees had a bias for Dallas, that we would have the most flags thrown on us more than any other team in the league? No shot, dude. No way. So that is a completely legless claim. There's nothing to stand on if you say that the refs are biased towards the Dallas Cowboys. You clearly have not watched a single game until this week. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. You cannot say that they're biased towards the Cowboys when I've said it last week, I said it the week before, and I said it the week before that. We are getting so many penalties in the Eagles game, the Dolphins game, the Lions game included. And before that, we get calls all day. What did I say the other week? We had more penalty yards in the first half than we did passing yards, right? What other team is saying that except for a team that doesn't have a quarterback that's, leading the league in touchdown passes in top 3 in every other category? None of them, right? So I think that's a legless claim. And if you actually believe that the refs are biased towards Dallas because this guy got confused with, I will add, not making an excuse for him, if you want to report an offensive lineman eligible, don't send 3 offensive linemen to go talk to that ref. Why are you sending 3 guys? To confuse the defense. The ref has to announce it on the speakers. You can hear him announce it on the speakers. Number 70 has reported eligible before the ball is snapped. Now, obviously, they didn't have a timeout, but at least Jared Goff turning to the ref and being like, yo, it's 68. It's not, do something. They ran the play after it was audibly heard by everybody in that stadium, and apparently only on the ESPN Deportes audio. I don't know why everyone else couldn't hear it, but that's where you can go and listen to the ref announce to the entire stadium, the Lions team included, that, the wrong guy is eligible. That's not on the Cowboys. And do you think that if the ref came and told the Cowboys that number 68 was eligible and not number 70, that, yeah, there's probably going to be a man on number 68? Duh. What? So all that confusion, all that BS, I'm not here. I'm not here for it. All right. Now we can get into these paydays that are coming up. All right. We're in a tough spot.
Oh, yes, you are.
We're in a tough spot. All right. So Ceedee, his 5th-year option is going to be this coming season, and I'm assuming that they'll get a deal done before that. But for the next season, Oh, congratulations, Scott. Love to hear it.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Love to hear that too. Great name, Scott. Great name. All right. So here's Lambo's holding his tongue right now. Here is what I'll say. I'll start with the cap situation for next year. We're above the cap. We are above the cap next year. All right. And I think not the only reason, but a very big reason we are above the cap is because we're paying Michael Gallup $15 million a year to do.
What has he done this season? What has he done?
Shit, dude. And I said, look, they essentially picked Michael Gallup over Amari Cooper.
Look what Amari Cooper doing with 4 quarterbacks in Cleveland.
I mean, look what he was doing with us, bro. Like, I am one of the, biggest diehard Cowboys fans I know that actually knows shit about the Cowboys. Obviously, there was that video going around Twitter and TikTok the other day of, are you a diehard Cowboys fan? They're like, yeah. Where did Dak Prescott go to college? And like nobody
Mississippi
knew.
State.
Well, yeah, no shit. But like all these guys and girls that are wearing Dallas gear in the Dallas stadium, like half of them didn't know where he went to college. Those aren't the diehards I'm talking about. All right. I'm legit. All right. So I've been saying this. I'm very proud to be a Cowboys fan, but I have been saying this since they signed Gallup to that god awful extension. Why are we paying this guy $15 million a year in a cap hit? And this is not just this coming year. It's been between 13 and 15 since that extension was signed, right? Off of an ACL tear. Obviously, last year, he didn't play his best, but we thought that was because it was his first year off the ACL. No, it's not, all right? He's just not that guy that we thought he was going to be. So that's a mismanagement of cap space, obviously. Dak, what are you going to do? All right. He's a top 3 quarterback in the league this year. And since his career has started, top 10, right? You argue with your mom if you disagree. Okay. The cap hit that he's going to bring is just what it is. If you want a top caliber quarterback in the league, I'm not complaining about that. Pollard, we're not going to re-sign him. So that's 10 mil ish that won't be on the books next year. DeMarcus Lawrence is getting around 20 million. That's the going price and that's actually pretty cheap compared to what a lot of these edge rushers and D linemen are getting paid in today's, contract renewals and stuff like that. So I'm not mad at it. It's just, we are very top heavy when it comes to cap. And one of those guys being at, the reason we're top heavy is Michael Gallup. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think we need to move on from that. Like Brandon Cooks is getting 10. That's fine. I think that his play is worth 10 mil a year. That's okay with me. 15 for Michael Gallup is not, especially when we have to pay Ceedee, whose 5th-year option is already $17.5 million next year. And then we're going to have to give him around 20, I'm assuming, on, a 5-year extension. Now, Micah, like I just mentioned with DeMarcus Lawrence, who's getting 20, damn, his average is going to be what, 25, 28, maybe higher? He's the third player.
He wants more. He wants that Joey Bosa money.
Right.
That Nick Bosa.
Well, and rightfully so, right? He's the third player in NFL history to have 3 straight 13-plus sack years to start his career. He is obviously one of the top defensive players in the league. And we also just re-signed Trayvon Diggs. Now, we're not going to have to worry about Deron Bland for at least a couple years, but man, I don't know how we're going to do it, and obviously Ceedee and Micah are players that I know I'm not speaking alone here, need to be Cowboys for the rest of their careers. You can't be 88 on the Cowboys and then just go somewhere else. That's not how it works. You are a Cowboy. So, and then same thing with Micah. You can't be a generational guy and then just bounce after your 5th year. DeMarcus Ware didn't leave until he was damn near 32, something like that. He didn't leave till his career was definitely on the back end. We need to capitalize on these guys being still approaching their primes, which is the scary thing. Neither one of these guys are as good as they're going to be, right? That also brings the amount of money that they're going to have to get paid. So I'm not a cap expert. I'm not going to pretend to be, but we're already over the cap next year. There's going to have to be some serious moves that are made to make room for Ceedee and Micah. Now, luckily, the cap is expected to rise in the next couple of years, if not this coming year. So that'll bode well for us, excuse me. But I I don't know what we're gonna do to make it work.
Well, your cap, or excuse me, your dead cap, 19 million in dead cap is, ooh, it's just,
From who?
I think it's your total dead cap. Hold on. Your dead cap is at
Dead?
17 million. Exactly. 17,947,954 if you want to be exact. That is the Cowboys, obviously, as of the 16th of October. That might have changed, obviously. So I'm just looking at what it changed. Not the numbers, but when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, they need to pay both guys. They have to pay both, and they have to sacrifice decisions when it comes to the Cowboys. Next year's free agents have a lot of guys. Dante Fowler, Tyron Smith. I think Tyron Smith should just damn near retire. I mean,
I agree.
Tyron Smith back. I mean, he, no disrespect. I appreciate what he does on the field, but it's just he break every single year. Breaks down, breaks down, breaks down. Tony Pollard probably won't get re-signed just because Mike McCarthy just doesn't run the ball. Stephon Gilmore, Jerron Kearse, Jordan Lewis, Trent Seed, Tired Bias. I mean, all these other guys that I don't know who they are. But do y'all think y'all re-sign Stephon Gilmore?
No. I would love to, but to the point that I was just making, like, we don't have the flexibility to do that. He's played phenomenal this year, right? And if you don't think he has, you haven't been watching the tape. Like, he's played super, super well this year. And I think, he's still worth top end cornerback money. Now, obviously not long term because he's old and he's definitely over that hump, but he's still playing at a very high level. So the amount of money that he's going to maybe not demand, but that he's going to be worth, I don't think fits into the long-term success of us being able to manage this salary cap issue that we're in. Now, it's tricky, right? Because Zach Martin was basically holding us hostage, and he's obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best guards of all time. So I'm not mad that we're paying him top dollar, but he was holding out at the beginning of the year unless he got basically, position setting money, like he set the new standard for that offensive line for the guard position when he was holding out. So that's another $28 to $30 million that we're giving to him. And that's what I'm saying. We are so extremely top heavy. I have it right here. So Dak next year, cap hit 59 mil. DeMarcus Lawrence is 20. Zach Martin, 28 and a half. Let's see, Gallup is 14. Like, that's the thing that pisses me off, dude. I could honestly not give a shit if we're a little, we see the Saints do this every year. They go into the offseason like 30 million over the cap, and they somehow restructure all these contracts and just keep kicking the can down the road, which eventually they'll have to pay, obviously, but they keep figuring it out to where they can get into the season without having to endure that penalty. We're going to have to do something similar, but Michael Gallup cannot be, and I'm not going to hammer that more because I know I just ranted for 10 minutes about him, but Michael Gallup cannot be a part of our long-term plans if we want to manage this salary cap thing itself. Trayvon Diggs next year, 16 mil. Micah Parsons, his fifth year is only 5, but like we said, like he's going to need an extension before the next season starts. I don't think that he steps on the field without, big money in his pockets. Let's look here. Malik Hooker, he's got a pretty team-friendly contract. Like I said, Ceedee is at 18 next year for his fifth-year option, and then we'll probably have to pay him mid to high 20s. Or I'd say mid-20s, probably not high 20s. That'd be a little crazy. Terrence Steele, offensive linemen are expensive. We talked about this last week. He's getting 11 million next year. Donovan Wilson, another good DB, 7.4. Van Der Esch might not play another snap of football again. I hope he does. I want the man to be healthy, and he's been a great Cowboy. But, like, do we need to reinvest into him if we don't know if he's going to continue? Like, we did this with Sean Lee for 5 years when he was playing, 4 games a season and then would keep getting concussions and keep hurting his back and everything. And now with Van Der Esch, it's his neck. So I don't think that we should reinvest in him, especially what linebackers. Not saying he's a top caliber linebacker, but he's not a bottom tier one either. So he's going to get a pretty penny if I had to assume if he were to re-sign. So I don't think that that's something we need to invest in. Although our linebacking core is not as strong as I think, me or other Dallas fans would like it to be. But I don't think that you can reinvest into him either when you have these two guys that we need to pay.
Well, also, when it comes to both of these guys, Jerry Jones, don't give them no hometown discount. This ain't Dak Prescott what you did with his first contract. Ain't no hometown discount. Pay them full price. Full price.
I agree that they deserve full price, but if they go into
they earned full price. They earned full price.
For sure, they deserve it. I agree. I completely agree. But if they go into these negotiations with a team-friendly mindset, I'm not going to be the one that says, oh, no, brother, here, take another $5 million on top of that. Hell no. If they come into it being like, I want to keep this core of, a top group in the NFL, like the core of the Cowboys, Dak, Ceedee, Micah, Trayvon, like if you want to keep these guys as well and DeMarcus Lawrence, and you want to build around them, we can't be, just dishing out money every which way. So these guys come into these negotiations, not saying this is going to happen, but if they do come into it with a team-friendly mindset, I'm not going to be mad at that. I'm not giving them an extra $5 million if they want to keep this core together.
Well, that's it for Lambo Matt's World Sports. Hope you get a like, comment, subscribe to Total Pro Nation. And if you need your merch, go to TotalProNation.com. And if you want to follow those nauseating, sorry Cowboy fans, not even that, but if you want to just follow the Cowboys in general, you go to X, Sideline Sports Network. Thanks for the platform as always. We will catch you in tomorrow's episode of Lambo and Matt's World Sports. Y'all have a great night. Go Cowboys.